Hey everybody, this is Brandon, also known as Joystick Hero. Just making a quick video to help you out with the OGL sheets from Roll20. As previous games I've run, I've used the shaped sheets, and this is quite a bit different. Mostly the reason for this transition is that the OGL sheets are lighter weight than the shaped sheets, so the games tend to run a little bit more smoothly if you have, say, a slow processor or a low amount of memory. And honestly, as a GM, when I'm running an encounter with like 10 different types of creature, the shaped sheets were getting kind of clunky. Anyway, start off, this is a feature exclusive to my games. This is an API script I have installed, but if you type in !care sheet, or perhaps char sheet, you end up generating a new character. And if you go to the journal here at the top, click that, you'll have one that's called blank sheet, which I will click on right now, and show off that it is indeed a blank sheet. Oh, fun little feature here, and this is something that many people apparently don't know, but if you double click here at the top, minimizes the window. Pretty good to know. Anyway, let's make this blank sheet a little less blank. Click edit here in the upper right, choose an avatar. You can't see the window that just popped up, but I'm going to my desktop and grabbing a picture. Loads it in. Nice. And I'm going to name this character blank check. Also good to do is to write a bio in this area, and I'll show you why in just a second. Here is the greatest ever and cannot ever be beaten by anything ever. All 20, not 29s. I wanted to do 20s, but I wrote 29s. So say that somebody clicks on your character sheet, they cannot see this part. If they click your character in the journal, they will not see this cool screen, but they will see is this. So if you ever want to write any information for other players to see about your character, this is a great place to put it. Anyway, I'm just going to do some stuff real quick. I'm going to put some values in for stats. You might notice that the small one on the bottom is where you put your numbers, and the one at the top updates to what it should be according to that. 0. The class, and I'm very sorry for this, I've learned that the recording doesn't catch these drop-down menus, but if you click on it, it opens a drop-down menu, and you can select your class from that. It doesn't have any of the like homebrew classes or anything from UAs, so when, say, psionics come around, well, you'll have to add that yourself, and I'll show you how in just a moment. But for now, this character is going to be a bard. Hooray, they're a bard. They have a natural 15 armor class because they have so much dexterity. Very good character. Automatically will check your saving throws. So these ones are the ones that are that class's saving throw, and if you click on it, it'll automatically pop that out there. You'll have to set your own skills by just clicking these little handy check marks. And then if you say you have expertise or something, that is also something that you'd have to change in the same place where you can do this special class. I might as well show that right now. Over here in the cog, you have advanced settings. And here you can change your hit die. If you have an initiative modifier, you can put it in there. If you have a custom AC, say you're a barbarian or something that adds a second stat, you can throw that in there and click that. All these different features are available to you. Also gives you custom class options, which unfortunately, something like the Mystic is, as far as the sheet is concerned, because it only has the SRD. You have to add that stuff yourself. So you would just throw that thing in there, and it would allow you to use that class. This is also where you would set things like expertise for skills. Say that you're a rogue or bard with that. If you want to try using the ammo tracking API, that is an option available to you. You can just click here at ammo tracking, turn it on. You might have to read some of the documentation because I have never used it. I just installed the thing so that other people can. Encumbrance, I don't know why this defaults on. I want it to be off. We are not using these variant encumbrance rules, so please turn that off. I will be sure to tell players when they join my games, but if you're watching this video, just go ahead and flip that thing off. So, we're going to add some items to this character. Every character needs 3 things. All these are very important. You need a sword. I'm the GM, so yes, please. Automatically adds an attack, which automatically adds a macro that you can click on. For the record, when you click an attack, it won't automatically roll the damage. It won't do that until you click the name of the weapon or the attack. If you need to make modifications to a thing, If you click this little cog, you can change any one of these fields to what you need it to be actually be what you want. Some weapons, say a scimitar, are finesse weapons, and you can use dex instead of strength in those things, and you have to set that yourself. Let's see what else. Oh, next important thing, armor. We're gonna go for nice medium armor because that's sick dexterity stat. I don't remember. Chainmail is light or heavy suddenly. I think it is a heavy. Oh well. Yay, they're wearing chainmail. Automatically changes your armor class. That's very nice. If you click in here, that's where it knows that mod is. It's got AC +3 on it. I think if I do that, it changes up in there. Generally, you won't have to mess with this because we won't be giving out too much custom armor. If I do, it's usually going to be a type that you can just click and drag from the side here. But anything you want to change, special things about these items, you would have to click in here. And it's also where it puts some of this extra information in, like finesse, light, requires attunement. The big long description that if you just go ahead and click into, say, something like this, it would list it for it, and it might be a little bit more convenient just to read it from the SRD, frankly. Oh, third thing that every character should have, no matter what. Pack. Again, if you click this thing here, it shows that information, that what it includes. It's handy. In some cases, if you just can't remember what's in it, it's just faster to click in the SRD and read it from there. Inside of here is also a place where you can unequip an item without removing it completely from your sheet, which might be nice if it's something that you plan on getting back. If it's something you just want to remove, you got this little thing here in the corner. Allows you to do things like change the order or permanently remove an item. In the event that you are a spellcaster, you got the spells tab here. You can do the same thing as with items. You can click and drag from the SRD. So say that you've got a cool firebolt, click and drag. It puts all of the information in. Some spells are going to be a little goofy, so anticipate that. Like Scorching Ray, you'll have to re-click the button every single time because it doesn't know how many times that you are trying to cast rays. So keep that in mind. Another little quirk about this is that Fireball doesn't have 2 spaces in it. Say something like a Fireball that is a 3rd level spell, the sheet doesn't know the difference. It does not know what level it's supposed to be, so you could drop it in the 1st level slot. So kind of keep that in mind. Make sure you don't put spells in the wrong spots. It does have a field in this thing here, which, again, if you need to make your own stuff, you can always click on, add, and fill that in yourself, or make an edit to an existing spell. Come on. So if you need to. Should also point out that right side here is intended for how many slots you have currently, and the one on the left is total available. You could switch up. I mean, they're just there to be handy little things for you to keep track of your stuff. The bio tab, all of this is for flavor. This is all for yourself and the GM. No one else can actually see these things. So keep that in mind while you're filling this out. It's just like a personal reference. Things like allies and organizations might be very handy for you to fill out because if you belong to a faction, let's say, it might be a good place to put that information. If you belong, or if you get a story reward, you might want to put it in treasure instead of in your inventory because it's not a physical object. All of these things have no text formatting by default, which can be annoying if you want to try to actually keep track of things. But say you want, if you want to actually have some kind of formatting, if you go to a unit-to-code text converter, which is something you can very easily Google, you can just kind of get, air quotes, bold text, which helps out quite a bit if you want to keep things nice and organized. And that goes for other proficiencies and stuff. None of this stuff has anything clickable. So again, these are all just for you, but they're handy to keep track of. For tools, kind of a similar situation. You can't drag and drop these. You have to just enter them in by hand. You can mark if you're proficient, things like that. You can mark what attribute it should use. That's a thing that's usually a GM call, but some of them are pretty intuitive. Carpenter's tools, you're using tools, it requires dexterity, actual dexterity of the fingers to use, so it uses dexterity. Don't forget to put in your hit point maximum. under hit dice, you usually want to put how many you have followed by the size of it as a helpful reminder to yourself, like of how many you have, and when you roll to do something like, say, a short rest, how much, like, what's the size of the dice you roll. Race, alignment, background, experience points. None of these are clickable. These are self-referenced. Don't lose track of your experience points for sure, because like that's super important in Adventurers League. All of these fields just are text boxes. You fill them in yourself. Things like Bardic Inspiration are little resource boxes that you have access to, and you know, you can have as many of these as you want. As many as you want for any kinds of things you might want to be tracking off to the side. I think that's all I can think of for these tabs, at least as far as fast information. Attributes and abilities actually give you access to every single variable associated with your character. Most of these you probably shouldn't mess around with unless you're a power user of some kind, because you can set up weird roll macros if you want. If there is something that isn't working like it should, this is usually a place you can change it and make it work appropriately. I'm trying to think of other things real quick. Oh, there's a good one. This is not character sheet related, but it is kinda. You can click and drag your own characters onto the board in case you get into something like a fight or something where you need to represent your character. These aren't set by default. I have to actually go in as a GM, because I will have to create special tokens for you that are associated with your character, so that when you drag them out, different stats are set up in those circles. Generally, for me, I will set the red circle to HP, the blue circle to AC, and then the green one, it's a free floating one by default. If you let me know what you want, I can set it to be like your arrows, your Bardic Inspiration, anything you want, just have quickly referenceable by clicking your character and seeing those bubbles pop up. Oh, and since I'm here, I might as well show you. If you hold shift down and double click your character, it opens up your sheet. But this is nice to do, like setting this up, because if like I say you take 8 points of damage, instead of having to go and do some basic math and then change your current hit points to 2, you can just write -8 and hit enter. Say that you heal by 5, +5, enter. It's a lot faster. It is so much faster than trying to do like math, especially when you get to higher numbers or weird esoteric prime numbers that you're adding and subtracting from each other. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's a couple of handy combat things that I've put in. This is all API scripts again. This isn't necessarily your sheets, but it's something that, since I already have a token out, I might as well show you. You can add your own initiative just by clicking your character and then clicking the top part here. There's like a box up here for you. Everything except for edit status are things that are actually available to you. If you cast a spell and use concentration, you click that and it'll place it on you. If you take damage while you're in that state, it will prompt you to re-roll your concentration, which is nice. You can also remove concentration from yourself. You can mark that you've used a reaction, which is also pretty nice for me. And then after you end a turn once, you know what? It doesn't work because I have to start the combat. After you end your turn, there's not enough characters involved for it to work right. That's all right. We'll get a second blank check out there. There we go. So you end your turn. It passes the other one. When it gets back to you, it automatically removes that reaction so that it keeps track. It's a very slick system. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. What else? Well, I'm thinking. I don't know if there's actually anything else for me to talk about. Got that. Added things to my sheet. Showed you that you can use Unicode if you need to make that. Showed how you can edit these. Showed you about this tab here and all the different special features you'll have to set manually if you have those. Again, because this is just a general sheet. Showed you spells. Showed you bio. I think we're good. Excellent. So that's all for now in this video about showing you how to use these sheets. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to DM me or ask me at your convenience. And I look very much forward to playing with you in the coming weeks. All right, later.